Another day, another story. Where is God? The existence of God is one of the oldest and most debated questions in human history. Many different cultures and civilizations have attempted to understand and explain the nature of God and the role of God in the world. For many people, the existence of God is a central aspect of their faith and belief system. It shapes their understanding of the world and their place in it. The question of God's existence is important because it touches on some of the most fundamental questions about the nature of the universe, the meaning of life, and the source of morality. Many argue that belief in God is necessary for a sense of purpose and meaning in life, while others argue that belief in God is not necessary and that morality and purpose can be explained through other means. Throughout history, different philosophers, theologians, and scientists have put forward different arguments for and against the existence of God. These arguments often involve complex philosophical and scientific concepts, making the question of God's existence a challenging and nuanced topic to understand. In short, the question of the existence of God is an important and timeless question that has been debated throughout history because it touches on some of the most fundamental questions about the nature of the universe, the meaning of life, and the source of morality. Preview the main points and arguments that will be covered in the video. In the video, we will cover several key points and arguments related to the existence of God. Some of the main points that we will cover include the different religious perspectives on the existence of God, include Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and other religious views. The different philosophical perspectives on the existence of God, including arguments by philosophers like René Descartes, Immanuel Kant, and David Hume. The different scientific perspectives on the existence of God, including arguments for and against the existence of God, such as the fine-tuning of the universe, the anthropic principle, the theory of evolution, the Big Bang, and others. Interviews with religious leaders, philosophers, and scientists who provide their perspectives on the existence of God. A summary of the main points and arguments covered in the video, and an explanation of how different perspectives can coexist and complement one another. A personal perspective on the existence of God. In the video, we will explore these points and arguments, and present evidence and counterarguments for each perspective. The goal of the video is to provide a comprehensive and balanced overview of the question of the existence of God. Religious perspectives. Different religious traditions have their own unique perspectives on the existence of God. Here are some examples of the different religious perspectives on the existence of God. Christianity. Christians believe in the existence of one God who is the creator of the universe. This God is believed to be all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-good. Christians also believe that God revealed himself through the person of Jesus Christ, who is considered to be the Son of God. Islam. Muslims believe in the existence of one God, who is known as Allah. Muslims believe that God is the creator of the universe and that he is all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-merciful. Muslims also believe that God revealed his will through the Prophet Muhammad and that the Quran is the final and complete revelation of God's word. Hinduism. Hinduism has many different gods and goddesses, but these are often seen as different manifestations of one ultimate reality, known as Brahman. Hindus believe that everything in the universe is interconnected and that ultimately, all things are a part of Brahman. Other religious views. Some other religious traditions also have their own perspectives on the existence of God. For example, in Buddhism, the concept of God is not central to the religion, and many Buddhists do not believe in a personal God. However, many other religious views, like Sikhism and Jainism, have the concept of God. Philosophical perspectives. Different philosophers have had their own perspectives on the existence of God. Here are some examples of the different philosophical perspectives on the existence of God. René Descartes. Descartes argued that the existence of God can be deduced through reason alone. He proposed that the idea of God as an infinitely perfect being is innate in the human mind and that this idea can only come from God himself. He also argued that the existence of God can be inferred from the fact that the world is orderly and that this orderliness must have been imposed by a rational being. Immanuel Kant. Kant argued that the existence of God cannot be known through reason alone. He believed that the concept of God is a necessary postulate of practical reason, in that belief in God is necessary for morality. He also argued that the existence of God cannot be proven or disproven through reason or experience. David Hume. Hume argued against the existence of God, stating that the concept of God is unnecessary to explain the existence of the world and that the idea of God is based on human emotions and imagination rather than reason. He also argued that the existence of God cannot be proven through reason or experience, and that it is a matter of faith rather than reason. Scientific perspectives. Arguments for the existence of God. Cosmological argument. The cosmological argument states that the universe must have had a cause, and that cause must have been God. Teleological argument. The teleological argument states that the universe exhibits purpose and design and that this purpose and design must have been created by God. Ontological argument. The ontological argument states that the concept of God as a necessary being is inherent to human reasoning, and therefore God must exist. Counterarguments against the existence of God. The problem of evil. The problem of evil argues that the existence of evil and suffering in the world contradicts the belief in a loving and all-powerful God. The argument from non-belief. The argument from non-belief states that if God existed, it would be expected that more people would believe in God. The argument from the lack of evidence. The argument from the lack of evidence states that there is no empirical evidence for the existence of God, and therefore it is more likely that God does not exist. It is important to note that these arguments and counterarguments are not conclusive, and the question of the existence of God remains a matter of ongoing debate and discussion among philosophers, theologians, and scientists. Scientists have also weighed in on the question of the existence of God, and there are several scientific perspectives on the topic. Fine-tuning argument. The fine-tuning argument states that the physical constants of the universe are fine-tuned to such an extraordinary degree that it is unlikely to be a result of chance. This has led some scientists to suggest that the universe must have been designed by an intelligent being, which is identified as God. Anthropic principle. The anthropic principle states that the universe is fine-tuned for the existence of life and that the fact that we observe the universe from a life-friendly perspective is not a coincidence, but rather evidence for the existence of God. The theory of evolution. Some scientists argue that the theory of evolution supports the existence of God, while others argue that it contradicts the existence of God. Those who argue that it supports the existence of God point to the complexity and diversity of life as evidence of design, while those who argue that it contradicts the existence of God point to randomness and natural selection as evidence against design. The Big Bang. The Big Bang theory states that the universe began with a singularity, which some scientists argue is evidence for the existence of God as it suggests that the universe had a beginning, and therefore must have a cause. Others argue that the Big Bang does not necessarily imply the existence of God and that the cause of the singularity is still unknown. It is important to note that scientific perspectives on the existence of God are not conclusive and are subject to ongoing debate and research. Some scientists argue that the universe is fine-tuned for the existence of life and that the fact that we observe the universe from a life-friendly perspective is not a coincidence, but rather evidence for the existence of God. Others argue that the fact that we observe the universe from a life-friendly perspective is not evidence for the existence of God and that the universe could have been fine-tuned for other forms of life or for no life at all. Interviews. Interviewing experts in different fields can provide valuable insights and perspectives on the existence of God. Religious leaders can provide insight into the teachings and beliefs of different religions, while philosophers can discuss the logical and philosophical arguments for and against the existence of God. Scientists can provide insight into the scientific perspectives and evidence related to the existence of God. It is important to note that when conducting interviews, it's important to be respectful of all perspectives, and to give each person an equal opportunity to express their views. It's also important to fact-check any claims made during the interview to ensure accuracy. In conclusion, the question of where God exists is a deeply personal and subjective one. From my perspective, I believe that God exists in all things, guiding and shaping our lives. However, it's important to remember that everyone's beliefs and perspectives are valid and should be respected. Ultimately, the search for God is a journey that each of us must undertake for ourselves. I hope that this video has provided some food for thought and encouraged you to continue your own personal journey in search of God. Remember that your beliefs and perspectives are valuable and should be respected. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more thought-provoking content and remember to always keep an open mind and heart. Thanks for watching.